I'd like to start with a comment today, if I could. After the game on Saturday, I made some comments publicly. I mean, I was answering questions, but that's irrelevant, about the Zamboni and the state of the ice and the rink and so on. And I think those comments were inappropriate on my part. I was frustrated, and my frustration wasn't towards Jamie and Eric and their staff. I know they're as frustrated as we are in terms of the Zamboni situation. We are all trying to erase perceptions of what this program and this ice arena and this school's hockey is about. And I'm not alone in that. And I should not be making public comments about the state of the rink or the state of the Zamboni. We are all in it together. Jamie agrees 100% that it's a frustrating situation and we need to improve it, but I should not have made comments that came across like I was upset with her, because I'm nobody to be upset with her. She and I are colleagues. I'm not her boss, and I shouldn't have made those comments. So I want to apologize to her and her staff for making them. I still want the ice situation, the Zamboni situation cleared up, but so does she. So we are working towards that, and I do not need to be making public statements or comments regarding that. So with that being said, I appreciate you listening to that.
Are the Zambonis fixed? So that
it's a work in progress, Kevin. It's a work in progress, and no one's working harder than Jamie and Eric and their staff.
Are the games guaranteed to be played here this weekend?
As far as I know, as of Tuesday, yes, they will be played here this weekend. She's doing everything possible, and really stopping at nothing to make sure we are taken care of in that area.
How's the ice been?
Been fine. It's been good. I think the situation is the same, but I do think there's been more of a specific diagnosis for the newer of the two Zambonis, and I think they're working to fix it. Was the latest as of today, but the ice for practice today was totally fine. We had an ice cut at 9:30. We had an ice cut at 11:15, like we normally do on a Tuesday, and it was everything was fine.
When you look at your team, how do you deal with the lack of juniors and seniors?
I wish I had that answer. And I don't want to continue to talk about it if people think I'm beating up the juniors and seniors, because that's not what I'm doing. What Cam Sinclair and James McIntosh have been through in 4 years has been difficult, with the number of coaches and systems and culture and all the differences. No one's to say who's right and who's wrong. This is their third assistant coach, and they're 8 or 9. It's their third head coach and 8 or 9 assistant coach what they've been through. So the juniors, the junior class was pretty much decimated in terms of numbers based on what happened at the end of last year, and that was something we did, not to decimate the junior class, just the changes that we felt were necessary. Our juniors and our seniors are doing the best they possibly can to be what we need them to be. I think it's becoming and evolving that some of our younger people are put into more higher profile roles on our team. To get back to your question, how do we deal with that? We just continue to focus on each day as a new opportunity to be great on that day. Just like last year, I think the more we think about big picture on a day-to-day basis, the more negative than positive there is. I know, and we know as a staff, the big picture is going to be great. We're moving forward, the plan is working. What does that mean day to day? It means we have to focus on that day, and we have to focus on the small picture and not get too caught up in what's going to happen in 2 years or what's going to happen next week. Our challenge yesterday was to be great yesterday. We're trying to put aside, there was a lot of questions on Sunday. Questioning myself, questioning the plan, questioning this and that, and there wasn't a whole lot of answers. And ultimately the answer is stick to the plan. The plan is a long-term plan. It's a process. These kids are giving us everything they have. Are we making mistakes at key points in games? Absolutely. Did we do some good things against Ferris State on Saturday night? I don't think there's anybody who was in the building on Saturday night that would disagree with that. We did some great things. We did some great things on the power play. We did some great things 5-on-5. You know, there was some really good things going on. Now, did we make some key critical mistakes that ended up in our net? Absolutely, we did. So I don't know how we make up for a lack of a major presence from juniors and seniors in our lineup, other than continue to push those guys, just like we do the younger guys, to be what we need them to be. And everybody's being held to the same standard, but to different standards in terms of, we're not going to compare a senior to a freshman. We expect more from seniors. We expect more from juniors than sophomores. That's just a fact. And the older guys know that. So we're just going to stick to the game plan. We're going to hold everybody accountable to the level that they've shown us they can be on a daily basis. And we're going to keep pointing out problems and mistakes, but we're also going to continue to point out good things, because we are doing good things. And the only way we can deal with that is to continue to believe that we're going to get rewarded for the good things we're doing. I don't know any other way to teach someone to be a junior. You can't. If he's a sophomore, you're going to have to wait another year. If he's a freshman, you're going to have to wait 2 years. That's where we are.
And obviously this isn't to beat up on the juniors and seniors, but yet it's just kind of a fact that...
Well, yeah, I agree totally. I don't want... Juniors and seniors are the guys that things should be pinned on, because they're the older guys. And that's the way it's going to be. But we are not picking on this group of guys. This group of guys have been through a lot. It's been more good than bad in terms of their career here. And just like last year's group, I want James and Cameron's senior year to be the best possible, the best of the four. Now, does that mean they're just going to play because? No. Does that mean they're just going to be on the power play because they're seniors? No. They're going to have to earn those opportunities based on expectations that we have for juniors or for seniors. And then we'll go to the junior class and say the same thing. You know, so it's not reinventing anything. It's not beating up on those guys. It's holding them to high expectations, just like everybody else within the program, but knowing that programs go as your older guys take you. And those are facts.
Now that you've had a couple of days to look at the power play after Saturday night, what are your thoughts now?
Well, I think it's improving. You know, it's not clicking on all cylinders just yet, but I do think, you know, we're trying to put guys in the best possible positions. And when you have freshmen on there, you don't really know what the best possible position is for them. You put them in places maybe they were in junior because they look comfortable there in junior. I do think, you know, we're playing with the idea of putting Moeller and Bergeron on the point on their respective power plays, just to add an element of offense out there and have four forwards out there versus the 3 and 2. But what we don't want to do is tweak it so much that they can't develop any chemistry, because all we're doing is changing it. I do think Saturday night they showed some good things. With the exception of maybe one power play where I thought the intensity dropped way off. For the most part, I thought we were okay. And you know, we were back at it today, just working in zone, throwing the puck around. So I think we're just going to continue to stick to the plan and practice it and let those guys get comfortable with each other. And yet continue to emphasize the fact that we need to be more intense more often on the power play.
Mr. Hammond had the mentality that what happened on Saturday won't phase him. I mean, he's right back.
You know, that's a great point. I think a lot of people would have that question. I'm not sure yet. You know, I think what we were reminded of is as much as we want to anoint, and when I say we, I'll say me. As much as I want to anoint Andrew as a robot who just plays and is focused and mature, Andrew's like the rest of us. He thinks about things and he cares, and I think Andrew was in his own way a little bit this weekend, and it really showed on Saturday. But I think there was pucks on Friday, and we can even go back to the Notre Dame series where out of his own mouth there was a couple of pucks he'd like to have back. So what we're trying to do is like everybody else, take some pressure off Andrew and just let him play the game, because it's something that he's really good at, and not get in his own way and worry so much. The weight of the world is not on his shoulders. He doesn't have to stop 45 shots a night for us to win. He has to do his part as a scholarship junior on this team to help us win hockey games. And that's it. He doesn't have to be Superman. And I think, you know, there's times where I need to continue to remind him of that, because maybe some of the things I've said or whatever has made him think that he needs to do something extraordinary to do what I expect him to do. He doesn't have to do that. He just has to be Andrew. That's enough. He's a great kid, and he's a great goaltender. But just like anybody else, if he starts to overthink it and get in his own way, he's not going to look very good. And that's what happened. You know, and you could see by his reaction, he wants it so much that, you know, he is basically beating himself up, and obviously there was something wrong with that. So let's bring it all the way back. Let's go back to playing this game that you're pretty good at, and you are a mature kid, and you can handle adversity, and let's just think about those things and not worry so much. So that's where we are with him, and I don't expect anything but him to be great the next time he plays.
What do you expect from Canisius this weekend?
I expect very similar to what we saw from UConn in terms of their approach. These are huge games for teams outside of our league. They want to come to the CCHA and beat the teams that they're playing against. UConn had no fear. They were focused, and they worked extremely hard within that. I expect Canisius to do the exact same thing. Their focus is watching them on tape from this past weekend. They're going to work hard. I know their head coach a little bit. He was here at Bowling Green for at least a year. I'm not sure if it was more than that, but if I know Dave, they're getting on the bus expecting to come in here and win 2 games. And we have to be ready. Again, we are not in any position to look at any games differently. We've got 2 games this weekend, just like we had last weekend. Just so happened last weekend were league games. We've got 2 games against a real good opponent this weekend, and our focus is to be great for both of those games. That doesn't change.
You and Dave were on staff at the same time.
No, we weren't. No, I missed him. I missed him by 1 year. I think he was on the staff Rico's first year, and then I was on the staff the second year, and I think he had come here.
What's Dan Salvo's injury and his status?
His injury is a back rib cage injury, and the status is it's very sore, and he hasn't skated to this point in practice this week. And I mean, we've talked about it plenty of times. Our policy is you have to practice to play. So, you know, I don't expect him to practice tomorrow. I think it's just really tender right now, and he needs rest. So that's the plan as of today.
And then everybody else, Bergeron.
Yeah, Marcus and Ted Pletch were both out based, and so was Cameron Sinclair, based on some nagging lower body things, and all 3 of them practiced fine today. I think Marcus and Ted are maybe a little bit more healed than Cameron is, if that's a word or a phrase. Cam, it's one of those things that I don't want this to be something he fights every day for the next 3 months. So he may have to just continue to rest. I don't know that. He was fine in practice, but I just think it's one of those ones that we have to be a little more cautious of.
So you expect to have Bergeron and Pletch available?
I do. As of right now, I do, yeah.
And then Wyatt Gowning?
Again, Wyatt's. I think with Wyatt, we're a lot closer to the to a good plan than we were yesterday, or way closer than a week ago. But we're still, and he is still weighing his options in terms of how to handle this. Do we do rehab and then risk the fact that he might have to have something repaired surgically in 4 weeks, or do we repair it surgically right now? And that's what he's going through, and you know, it hasn't been harder on anybody than Wyatt. I mean, it's been hard on him, and you know, he wants to get his foot in the door and make his mark as a freshman, and he hasn't been able to do that, and it's been frustrating for him.
And then Mark Rodriguez, any timetable?
No, I really think we're looking at, you know, the Bemidji series of the second half of the year for Mark. I mean, that's really hasn't wavered for me. I think for him to hear that in September was really difficult. But I think as we as we get, not too far from Thanksgiving here, it's going to be Christmas before you know it. I think that's what we're looking at.
Some bookkeeping stuff. Why is Saturday at 4 o'clock?
There was a scheduling conflict that we were trying to avoid. Ultimately, we were unable to do that because of the changes to the schedule post the change to our game. There was some changes made after we changed our game to 4, and we just didn't want to change it back. We thought it would be more trouble than what it was worth at the time. So we're just stick to the 7 and 4, and we'll go from there.
Are there stuff going on here?
Yeah, originally that's what it was. Yeah.
And then, are you going to Canisius next year?
Yes, we're going to Canisius. We'll play a non-conference series there just after the Christmas break.
And given that you use shootouts against Huntsville, are you going to do that this week?
Yeah, I talked to Dave, and Dave's a guy that played a bunch of years of minor pro hockey, so he was all for it. But it was something that a young coach mistake by me not having talked about it and put everybody in the loop. And sure enough, against UConn it happened. Nobody was prepared, and it doesn't go any further than me. That's totally my fault. But I talked to Dave way in advance, and Dave's all for it. So if need be, there will be a shootout in both games.
That's all I've got.
Good.
All right, Burge, thank you.